Newspaper people in the UK, you offended me because you said I was from Compton. Excuse me, I am not from Compton. Huh. Shoot, I ain't from no Compton. Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Most recently, now I know it seems like I'm doing these stories and there's things that I'm speaking about in regards to Meghan and to Harry. You know, there are things going on with royal families all over the world. And I think the reason why so much of my channel has been consumed with the information around Meghan and Harry is because this is the great divider. This is the great elephant that's in the room that I need to speak about because it just is so unbelievable. It's so unbelievable because there's so many historical things that we're considering in the context of Meghan marrying into royalty and what that could have done for the royal family in their work. But we have this deviation from the responsibility of coming into the royal family and completely just throwing away the obligation that was once expected and accepted from Meghan, that she completely has thrown away, and now she's deviating and essentially picking back up where she left off before she even left to go live in England when she got married. And seeing this deviation is what is so newsworthy, which is so important, I feel, for me to speak about, because it's in my mind, I'm just sitting back looking at this nonsense going, what in the world is happening? Girl, you mean to tell me you are seriously going to pick up and start your own career, throw your royal relatives under the bus and the Queen of England, mind you, under the bus, and keep walking straight like I'm doing what I do now. I got rid of y'all. I got rid of everything I said I was going to do for you, and I'm going to essentially make my own career path and try to supersede that which I probably could have never done in England because I can't get higher than the Queen. So if I can't get higher than the Queen, I'm not going to England. I'm not staying in England. I'm not doing no work for the Queen. I'm not going to support the Queen because it's all about me. And this is the historical context that we're talking about. This is why it is so much talked about, because people just cannot believe what this woman has done. And my husband and I, we talk about it every once in a while. And one of the things that he said, and I think this is so spot on, is that me speaking about this is helping people connect the dots. Meghan has moved into this situation, and we can see her connecting her own dots. Okay, marry a royal, move to England, marry, say I want to help the Queen. Next dot, okay, find a reason to leave the royal family, to leave, to go build my real career, to build my real success. We have proof of this. And so Meghan's connecting her dots. Okay, now, get all these real $1 million deals so I can start building my empire in America, have my husband remarry me in America, dot. Okay, next dot, have my babies, dot, start meeting with influential people, dot. Like, she's connecting her dots, right? Meghan's on her path. She's doing what she does. Harry is right with her, following along, helping her connect the dots, because she can't connect these dots without him. He holds half of the dot, and it's only through his helping her can she connect these dots. But when you come to a channel like mine and to other people that speak about this, we are showing you that this is not the way the dots should be connecting, because this way of seeing the dots connected is a facade. It's an illusion. Like, you may see the dots connecting, but they don't necessarily connect the way you're seeing them if you're in Meghan's camp and you're understanding how she's doing things. The dots are going here, they're going here, they're going like all over the place. And I, and like others, are trying to help you connect the dots. And there are some people that think that no, ain't no dots needed to be connected. I'm watching her connect the dots and leave Meghan alone. Just leave her alone. And I'm watching her connect her dots. Go ahead, girl, and connect your dots. Okay, you got your Spotify deal. Okay, Netflix. That's another dot. And there are people that are going to watch her dots go the way that they go. There are so many deviations from the dots that she has put out there for people to see that I want you to see the deviation of some of these dots. There's so many falsehoods. There's so many things that are not true. And at the same time, it is something that hurts other people. And it's at a point now where it's like you cannot believe someone is connecting these dots like this other stuff didn't even happen. It's like she didn't had a car wreck or she had that train wreck. She got up from the train wreck to dust herself off. Okay, let me get on now the next train. And as if the train crash never even happened. And there are people that don't even see the train crash when she had that Oprah interview. They don't see it. She keeping on going. Following me and others, you see that there was a train wreck. And that train wreck, my friends, was that Oprah Winfrey interview. And it is going to have repercussions, and it still does to this day. And if you don't see it, that means you don't want to see it. You just looking at Meghan's dots and you just keeping it going. Yes, girl, go connect your dots, girl, because you's Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. You go ahead, girl, do your thing. I applaud you. Connect your dots, girl. The Duchess. Yes, I love it. The reality is, folks, it's not what some people are seeing. I want to set the record straight about a few things. I am not a hate account. I'm not a bully account. I'm here as an educator to inform you that the royal family has been compromised. We know this all started with my Princess Diana, at least my education around the royal family and the things that I know. So my talking about royalty and being interested in all this goes way back to when I was 11 years old. Because you know how when Meghan talks about when she wrote that letter to Procter & Gamble about the women all across the world, well, it should be women, it should be, people. Why say women? You know the story from the podcast. If you haven't heard it, I'm going to talk about it here shortly. But my moment of truth came when I saw Princess Diana at 11 years old. It wasn't documented, basically. It just happened in my head, and I liked it, and I kept following Princess Diana because I was fascinated by her, and her aura around her attracted me. So this is not just me picking up a camera and let's talk. Let's be a bully. Let's be mean. Let's talk about that Meghan Markle. It's not about that for me. It's about giving you the real story of what we are seeing, and also what does it mean when you have people behaving like this? How can you behave better? How are people being the wool pulled over their eyes to not really see the truth, and trying to connect her dots with the fantasy in her head and not be in reality, be in truth? And in the process of that, people are getting hurt. People's lives are being destroyed. So moving on. So one of the things that's going on is Meghan has now got her Spotify. She's speaking to someone that I really like, Serena Williams. And she is talking about some things, especially the story we've heard all like a million times about her when she was younger, 11, 12 years old. She wrote this letter to Procter & Gamble about this soap, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, folks, is that, it didn't happen the way she said it in her podcast on Spotify. The real story we got from her father, and also it's in Tom Bower's book, Revenge. So we're hearing all these things as if to prop Meghan up on this pedestal that she had the power to change a national commercial about this dishwashing soap. And that's not true. It's not true. The reality is a lot of people wrote in about that commercial, and it got changed. There was no letter sent to Meghan that said, "Thank you for your letter. We've changed the commercial because it shouldn't say women, it should say people around the world. Thank you, young 11-year-old girl, for sending us this letter." That's not what happened. She doesn't have a letter saying that. But what she does have, we all know, is a Nickelodeon did a story about it. And the only reason why Nickelodeon did a story about it is because her father knew the lady that worked over at Nickelodeon, and she was able to get or to do a segment on Meghan and the letter that she had sent to Procter & Gamble. And she doesn't speak about her father. Her father right now is still suffering from the stroke that he had, from the stress of his daughter, Meghan, ignoring him, treating him the way that she is treating him to this day. First-hand account, information, fact. Teachable moments, folks. Teachable moments. Let's find the truth of the situation. So I'm not going to go in this whole story in detail about what she said on Spotify around that story. It will come up in other stories. Maybe I'll do a special video about it, you know, what really happened. But that wasn't even how it happened. But see, she's building and connecting her dots in a way that's more viable, that she can sell this concept of her empowerment to people. Now, don't get me wrong. Meghan has accomplished a lot in her life. And this is a good thing. I'm all about women improving their lives, improving their circumstances, and doing good things. But it should never come at the cost of your family, the loved ones that have taken care of you. It shouldn't come at the cost of throwing other people under the bus, dissing people, fracturing them to a point of being bullied, essentially. And that's what has happened. The reality is that there was an investigation about Meghan, about how she treated her staff while she was within the royal family. Like, there's so many dots that deviate from the reality of Meghan in her head. We gotta keep it real. We gotta check you. That's not true. It's not true. And the other thing is, if Meghan wanted to do the things that she's doing with the theme of this Archetypes and talk about women empowerment and, you know, how there are these negative, you know, stereotypes and labels that are placed on women, why not speak about your own discretions to be empowered? Not act as if I ain't do that, but let's talk about what you did. What'd you do? Let's talk about it on my podcast, okay? Serena, you first. And here's Serena in the lovely way that she shows up, very nice and cordial. I did listen to it. A very nice conversation, but the thing is that Meghan is trying to pull out these things that she doesn't want people to know that she's done herself. And that is the only way you can really come truthfully present in a moment of doing something like this podcast that Meghan is doing. That's the only way you can show up to do this, is to speak about, you know, the things that she may have done in her own life to get ahead, and to maybe have these same labels placed on her willfully to get ahead. Because these are the things I know firsthand from some people. But she's not going to tell you, and I'm not going to tell you either. Just fill in the blank and understand what I am saying. The reality is that women have had it hard. We know we have. Hi Otis. Women have had it hard, and, you know, trying to overcome these things is a good thing. But I think Meghan trying to show up to be the person to speak about this is just not the way to do it. And I want to talk to you about some examples of, you know, why she should not be the one doing it. And she needs to walk in truth. If she really wants to help people, if she really wants to call to order, you know, the realities of things that women have gone through to get where they are because of their ambition, she needs to be the first one laying the cards out on the table. Look, okay, yeah, I did that. Oh, yeah, I did that. Yeah, okay, no, I didn't do that. Putting that aside, you know, just lay the cards out on the table of the reality and speak up on it. And that's what she can do, to come truthfully, because she did say she wants to come from a very authentic place. But we're here to check her, because that's just not what's happening. But we can talk about it. We can make it a teachable moment. And we can try to say, look, be better, because you've hurt people along the way. I don't like that she never mentioned her dad in that story in the beginning of the podcast. That's essentially number one, because he was very instrumental in her being able to even play this on her podcast. But she never gives him credit. And this man is at home in Mexico, still suffering from her kicking him to the curb like he never existed. She's gonna ride the wave of the success she's perpetuating, and she only has her father to credit, but she won't even give credit to her dad. I find that very despicable. I find something very disingenuous about that. I find something very wrong with that. And then they talk about Compton. Okay, so one of the things she mentioned was straight out of Compton. They were mentioning in the headlines about Meghan when she came into the royal family. She's never lived in Compton. That's just not her. But she wanted to say on the podcast, you know, I never lived in Compton. But I know you did, Serena. You did. I didn't come from Compton. Excuse me. My mama did not live in Compton. Because the way I heard it, she didn't want nothing to do with having been from Compton. Now, they said straight out of Beverly Hills. She would be like, you know what? They said I was straight out of Beverly Hills, and she's not going to say nothing. She's going to let the lie be a lie. But she ain't gonna let a lie like I'm from Compton be there, because she does not want to be seen as somebody from Compton. And if you don't know what Compton is, go look it up. It was almost like you can be proud to come from there today. Even Serena said it in the podcast, because you know, that's where she grew up. That's where she got her start. And I think being proud of something, even if you may not like your circumstances at the time, own the things that you don't like. Own it, because that's your story. And that's part of Serena's story. She's never going to try to deny being from Compton. You know, like, she ain't hiding from Compton. But Meghan is, because she doesn't want that negative headline attached to her. Even though it's not true, she certainly doesn't want it attached to her, and she's also going to make it seem like a bad thing. But why couldn't she have been like, yeah, they said I was from Compton. I'm not from Compton, but hey, so what if I was? It's no big deal. Compton, hey, my friend Serena is from Compton. Like, it was like she wanted absolutely nothing to do with that. It was disgusting. It was ugly. It was beneath her. Don't get it twisted, shoot. I ain't from no Compton. Go kick rocks. You know, and that's the problem, because she has done that same thing with her family, because she's embarrassed. She's embarrassed from being called from Compton, and she's embarrassed of her family, because they're not the high class society people that she can put on her arm and say, look, this is my papa, this is my half sister Samantha, and this is my half brother Thomas Jr. She can't do that, because that is not a pretty thing for her. So she has to throw it under the bus, like she threw being from Compton under the bus. But I love how Serena Williams said that she was proud to be from Compton. And maybe Serena sees what Meghan is like. Maybe she's being her friend to keep her on the straight and narrow. Maybe she thinks by being her friend, she can make Meghan a better person. I think the only way Meghan can really become a better person is to have a friend check her. And maybe that will be Serena, maybe. At times, Meghan made it about her. It always ended up coming back to her when she was speaking with Serena. Now, that's okay every once in a while. Meghan is making this about her. She's connecting her dots, because this Spotify deal is really about Meghan. It doesn't really have nothing to do with the labels that she's saying. Archetypes. We're here to get rid of these labels about the women and all these negative connotations and all these bad things about women. We know it's not about that. It's about hear me speak. I'm on Spotify and I have $1 million deal and I get all these high profile celebrities to speak with me. Aren't I just fabulous? I'm Meghan Markle. I'm Meghan Markle and I'm here, Archetypes. I even tried to trademark the word archetypes, because I just love that word archetypes. Isn't it just lovely? It's my word. I made it up. I own it. I want to own it. It's all about me, 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 me. And then there's this whole story about the fire in Archie, which I'm going to talk about in my next video, because this video is getting a little too long now, because there's a lot to learn.